What an ugly $3,600 red day today. Very bad. Hey, fellow traders, it's Black Coffee Trader. It is Tuesday, May the 6th. And yeah, we had a nasty red day today. And let's just dive right in. I think the big summary today, the NASDAQ pretty much traded in about 100-point range here. And I took a couple trades within the middle of that range, which was the mistake. Definitely also got very unlucky today. It just seemed like every setup was a complete fail, and a couple of times that the setup looked really good, but it just completely reversed and failed on me. Yes, quite similar. We traded at about a 35-point range. Yeah, about 35 points today for the most part. And again, just I took a trade here in the middle. I took another trade up here, and yeah, just did not have a good day. Took one trade on the Dow. That was a break-even trade, which is technically a loss because of commissions, but that's fine. Another trade that just simply couldn't go. So that was pretty much the long and the short of today. It was just a very difficult, very tough day, and we made a very balanced approach of losing $300 to $500 per account. So anyway. Let's just take a look at it. I think if you look at like the big picture, what really the trade of the day really was this 750 hold this morning. The market opened, held the 750s, bounced off of that. That really was the trade. After that move, we just went sideways, and it was very yucky. I don't trade well in a market trend like this where it's just choppy. There's plenty of you out there that probably trade really well and like that kind of action. I don't. I looked at this morning. I didn't mark this 750. I looked at it. I didn't mark it because it was just one little move, and I just didn't feel like it was worth putting it on my charts as a reference. I did think about it when I saw the market come down to this area. I was like, well, is this the 750 hold? Is that actually going to hold? And that's precisely what happened. So I missed that opportunity by not putting that on my charts today, but so be it. I was looking for longs off of the 690s. I was looking for longs potentially off the 960s, or the 860s, I should say. And I was also looking for longs above yesterday's low of day, which we really did not get. So that was really, yeah, just, it was an unfortunate day. This setup right here, this was the last trade of the day. I was actually already done trading. I was not planning to continue to trade, and I was down pretty much 350, 330 across all the accounts, which is a bad enough red day. But now we're down 550 on these bottom ones because we had this setup. And this was one of the cleanest. This was what I was looking at. We had broken. This was we opened, we pushed up and rejected perfectly off this 863. We pushed off the 750s, and then we held above that and we tested that level. So we have resistance turned into support, and I was looking at a very clean resistance play. And I saw that developing. I was not planning to take any more trades, but I saw that set up and I had to take that short, took the short, and what do? But we have this nasty move up. Came back down. I mean, it did stop me out there for a max loss of 200. Came back down and would have allowed me to get out, and then we reversed. It was just one of those days. I was not one with the market, and those are kind of days that can be frustrating. I try to keep that to a minimum because I know that it doesn't do us any good. We really have to understand, like, my thesis is, or my analogy after a day like this is, where did I go wrong? And like the big thing for me today is I took trades in the middle of this range, which was not good. This one here was a long that I took that I killed early, and I probably should have let this one run. I would have caught this move. If you look at it, if you look at my trade plan this morning, I was looking for longs kind of in the middle of this range. I was eyeing this 900 area to the 860s and thinking if we test that could be a long opportunity, and it was. The difference was we went right to the middle of that range. So a long in the middle, and I looked at this morning. I just didn't take it. I thought we might test this lower level first. I wanted a clean retest of this opening range high. We just didn't get it, but a long of this area would have been really good. That set up on ES, I did mark that after this was an intraday. I started to notice this 5640 level forming, and it was it did have some reasons to be there from further left. If you look at the charts here, the 40s on ES came into play right here the last couple of days, or actually that was last week. Yeah, last week that area came into play, and it came into play again today. So I marked that, and that would have been a really nice long. And unfortunately, I didn't take it except for right here, and that ended up being a flush through. And just again, I chose the wrong times to take the trade. So anyway, it is what it is. Let's just look at TradeZilla. Today, $3,600 red day, one of the worst red days I've had in quite some time. No winners, all losing trades. I think 5 trades today. Just a pretty ugly day. Do we really need to go through? I kind of covered the trades already. I did put them in my notes, but I don't think it's worth the time to really dive through the actual notes I put down. I pretty much covered everything. This one here this morning, the first trade was a break and retest short. I was looking at a rejection of the 50 SMA, the daily 50. I was looking at a rejection of the overnight low, and we were also we had this move down, and it looked like a great setup below VWAP. It looked like a great setup short, and it just didn't work. Obviously, this was where the NQ 750s held up and pushed us out of there, so I was incorrect on that one. We talked about this one where I was unlucky, fell through. This one here was actually I was looking at a retest of this level right here, this opening high on ES. I was looking at that, and I had these wicks, and this candle was green, and it just, after I got into the trade, it reversed. So I was probably a little bit too early into anticipation, like as far as getting into that setup. But yeah, what else? I only took a few. I don't know if I took any on ES on 85. Oh yeah, I did take this one. I think there was some news or something. Maybe Trump was speaking, but something happened. We had this massive rip here around the lunch hour, and we started to see a hold forming, or I started to see a hold forming above this area, above this yesterday's low, and took that long, and we just failed. And so again, just that was the day. I can laugh about it now, but it was just like, really? Every setup was just a complete fail. NQ, we took these two. Let's see, did we take anything with 84? Nope, just those 2 trades. So that's pretty much it. So we'll keep it pretty short and sweet today. Obviously, this market is definitely just very much sideways, and probably maybe will be until we get to FOMC tomorrow. So we'll see. I'm going to be cautious. I don't like the fact that it gave back a bunch. Let's look at the week thus far. Yesterday, I did take a couple of trades. I should have covered that. I took a couple trades in the afternoon yesterday. I didn't do an update. Had a little bit of a loss on the upper 4 accounts, and on the bottom 4 accounts, I made a little bit of money. Nothing spectacular at all. But then today, we obviously gave all that back, and so we are basically down practically 500 across every single account so far this week. So not a good start to the week. Definitely have a hole to dig ourselves out of, and that's what we'll need to do. But I want to be careful because FOMC tomorrow could be pretty crazy. So we'll just have to be careful, really get a strong game plan together tomorrow morning, and then follow that. So, and again, red days are going to happen, and we just have to accept that and look at how we can improve and move forward from there. So last but not least, I want to just remind you that Apex has an 80% off sale that's going on until I think the 20th of May. So we have about 14 days. So a little stretch here that we can have 80% off on the Apex accounts. That's a really good deal. Code BCT gets you that best deal with Apex. Also, the Take Profit 30% discount is still going. That's a 30% off and no activation fees. So appreciate those of you that use code BCT. Thank you. Help support the channel, and I do appreciate it. And also, thank you, new subscribers. We had a nice little increase in new subs. So if you're new, feel free to like and subscribe. I try to do these videos every day, taking you along on my trading journey. And then in the morning, I've started to do a morning trade plan for the most part, almost every morning. So I really like that. I really enjoy creating those videos, and it also helps me to be very accountable to myself during the day in my trading. I did deviate from that a little bit today, took some trades here in the middle that weren't really part of that plan, and so that really was part of the undoing, and that's how we learn. So again, I just want to say thank you. Thanks for following along. It's a red day today, but you know what? We didn't lose any accounts. Tomorrow's a new day, and we'll be back at it. So take care. Until next time, so long.